joyful hello to all of you. My name is Minnku Buttar, founder of the Circle of Joy that brings you self-mastery programs and retreats. It gives me great joy to bring to you this season's talk show, a series of interviews on choosing joy, secrets, and stories from all over the world. It is my diligent attempt to show you that joy is not a hockey-pocky, frivolous concept, but a discipline, a way of life much needed. If you want to be resilient, radiant, and unstoppable like a runaway train. So subscribe to my channel so that you can tap into the wisdom of people from all over the world. I will see you there.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the 34th episode of this talk show, Choosing Joy, Secrets and Stories from Around the World. My name is Minnku Buttar, your host from India, and I'm so happy and grateful we are still together in 2023. But recently, my mind whirls to the instability of a world right now. We are all like explosive powder kegs, if I can call it that. Just glance around. We have ongoing violent conflicts that have led to displacement. We are facing repercussions of a global pandemic and changing climate, and the list is long. But the point is, what if all the solutions lie in a very simple awareness of how we are showing up in the world? Can you imagine breaking it down to the most simplest part? What if we all needed was an awareness of values that become part of the solution and that uplifts humanity? So what if you were the solution versus becoming part of the problem? And that really sounds good. Now, to have this very powerful conversation of what's lacking right now in the world, what could we do more of, and what does it take to make this beautiful shift? I have with me a very gentle yet very empowered guest speaker who will be sharing ideas on how to improve humanity's outlook. Now, she might look demure, but believe me when I say this, she's a powerhouse. And when it comes to creating marketing and communication strategies, she creates exceptional customer experiences, very impactful company training and leadership retreats, and has wonderful strategic client relations. Now, her belief in creating, building, and weaving quality content, elevating customer service, her sense of community that comes straight from the heart, and teamwork was actually honored and nominated by the Leadership Circle and the Full Circle Group for the Unsung Hero Award. Yay! And then selected by Successful Meetings magazine for this Passional Award that celebrates passion made your event possible. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from the scenic Utah in United States, join me to welcome the founder of Kindness from the Heart, Jenny Haase. Hi, welcome, dear Jenny. So glad we made it.
Thank you. I am so delighted to be here and so appreciate the invitation.
You're so welcome. And of course, Jenny, this is a conversation that was waiting to happen. Grand challenges always call for grand ideas, right? That's what you need new tech, you need clever science, and you need a smart global foresight. All of that is so accepted. But I have to say this to you, Jenny, today, that we're here amongst our audience who will be listening to you, from a very global audience, if I may add. I must tell you that the first thing that caught my eye on your profile was this quote. And the quote said, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. And Jenny, I love this power pack mandate that you had on, almost saying, hello, how can you be anything else? Yes, we need empathy, we need guidance, honesty, forgiveness, and all of that. We need intimacy, encouragement. We need maybe more powerful. But Jenny, tell me, let's start with the fact of sharing you with the audience. Why did you gravitate especially to kindness out of all that we need?
You're right. There are so many things that we need and so many values, so many actions to really make a difference in our world. But for me, kindness is kind of it's encompasses a great deal of other values as well. And you mentioned some of them. So, you know, sometimes people think about kindness as simply being nice or polite, but it is so much more than that, and it runs much deeper. Um, Kindness embodies lots of other values. I've got a T-shirt that's has a big heart on it in the form of and it's a word cloud. So it has kindness in large print, and all around it is other values and things that make up kindness, and things like compassion and empathy and understanding, respect, equality, service, love, gratitude. There are so many other values that are a part of really embodying kindness that it's kind of like a bonus value. You get to multiple values, you know, in all embodied in kindness.
That's amazing. I actually, most of the people think of kindness as one of the values, and it's just so interesting that you bring it together, saying that this is the most powerful and compassing. If you have kindness, you're empathetic, and if you are kind, you know, it's just beautiful. You're loving, you have unconditional love. So can you tell me, I mean, really, do you really think in what way is this the strongest glue that can help us seal and heal? I think what the world needs right now is a lot of healing, right? So how can this strong glue heal this fragmented fabric of our existence? What do you think needs to happen here?
I think one thing that's important to remember that, you know, if we want to take kindness and just kind of boil it down to a simple phrase, kindness is love in action.
Oh.
And there's multiple kinds of kindness. And I look at, you know, the three main types of kindness. There's kindness to self, kindness to others, and kindness to the planet. So when we think about those three things, you know, let's take on kindness to self. Um, how many of us are you know, kind to others in what we say? But we say things to ourselves that we would never say to someone else, you know, and I have to catch myself on that. You know,
Yeah,
I'll walk
I do that.
into a room and remember, you know, think, oh, what did I come in here for? Oh, you are so dumb. It's like, no, don't talk to yourself that way, right? You wouldn't treat someone else that way. Treat
Yeah.
yourself respectfully. Find ways to nourish your soul and your spirit. We are in such a difficult time all around the world. And, you know, for me, when I started really focusing on wanting to bring a message of kindness, I thought about it's always been an important value, but it's seemingly never more so than it is today because we're becoming so divided. And we have so many challenges. And that was before the pandemic when I started thinking along those lines. Um, so let's treat ourselves kindly. We can't, you know, there's the phrase, you can't pour from an empty cup, right? So we need to fill ourselves to be able to be kind and give to others. So, you know, look for ways to be kind to ourselves and look for ways to be kind to others. It's sometimes so simple, so easy to do, whether it's a smile or a kind word to somebody who clearly is having a difficult time in their day. Um, so many things that we can do. And then that third kindness is kindness to the planet. And our planet, our home, needs us more than ever.
Yeah.
It's really frightening. A lot of the things are going on. So, how can we reach out, live our lives in such a way that we are being kind to the planet as well and creating the future for our children and our grandchildren and our great grandchildren that we want them to have? So, you know, those are some of the things I think that make me feel like kindness is incredibly powerful. And as I mentioned, we're becoming more and more divided, right?
Yeah.
In the
Instead of
US,
becoming divine.
exactly. In the US particularly, but I know other places around the world too.
Mm,
And so kindness is something that refuses distinctions
mm,
and things that separate us, things like race and class and education and religion, ethnicity and gender and ability or disability and political party. So kindness can bring us together, and it doesn't matter, where we fall in life, right?
Mhm.
And helps to affirm people, and it helps us to look past our perceived differences. And we need to do a lot of that now, instead of just seeing what makes us different and just fighting and yelling and wanting our voices to be heard. We need to open up a space where we can appreciate others' opinions, listen, and then, we're not going to be heard unless we're willing to really listen to others as
Mhm.
well. And I love quotes. I love the quote that you opened with, and so many wonderful kindness quotes. And a friend a couple of years ago sent me a picture of a bumper sticker that had this quote: "We don't need to agree on anything to be kind to one another."
Oh, beautiful, simple.
Just think about that. And so I took that, and this was right before our elections in the U.S.
Hmm.
And they've been getting more and more contentious, as I'm sure is,
Yes.
passed on around the world. And so I took that message, and I made two different signs, one of them in blue and one of them in red, and made them identical other than the color. And of course, those two colors were representing our two main political parties that have just been going head to head.
Mm.
And I took sets of those signs, laminated them,
Oh,
and I posted them along my local trail, side by side.
oh,
And I did my best not to let my own political beliefs come through. And I would, do one color, do a blue and then red, and then I would do a red and then blue, and put them just, identical. And just wanted us to start thinking about,
mm,
we're not going to get anywhere positive if we just keep yelling at each other and wanting to be heard,
mm,
and not valuing other people's opinions, beliefs, their life experiences, their backgrounds, what led them to where they are.
mhm.
Um, we can't continue in this way and have a world that is a place that I really want to live in. I want to bring grandchildren into.
That's beautiful, Jenny. Gosh, I hear you. I completely beautiful how you put it, because if only we could all walk this path. I talk about diversity a lot, and I'm very aware of what legacy are we leaving behind for the children, right? And this is such a coincidence. I'm writing my first article for an American lifestyle magazine called Women's Straight Talk, and the Hallmark issue is going to be out in April, and that's exactly what we are tapping into. How how is it that each one of us, we all feel the same things, Jenny? We feel we bleed the same color, right? And yet we have so much of differences, and we are not able to embrace the diversities, the unity in the diversities. But you're so right. I love how you said that the kindness starts with you. I almost feel like saying divine kindness starts with you. And to me, when you were speaking, it felt like a very warm, fuzzy space. It felt like pure intention in our hearts. And that's all you need. One of my most favorite authors, Kahlil Gibran, he calls it the snow that beautifies everything it covers. How beautiful is that?
It's
Um,
beautiful.
yeah,
It's not easy. And I don't want
completely.
to, come across saying that this is an easy thing to do. It is
Mm,
not. And sometimes it's more difficult. And it may be easier to show a kindness to a stranger than to somebody that we know, or
yeah,
to a family member.
yeah.
But if we just try each day to be a little bit kinder, or be a little bit more open,
Mm,
and loving, let's just keep making progress, and not feel like we have to be perfect. And as with the quote that you opened with, about in a world where, you can be anything, be kind. And what if we just take world out of that quote, and say, and replace it with moment.
mm.
So in a moment where you can be anything, be kind.
Oh, that.
And not think that we have to be perfect, and just have that on all the time, because nobody, well, very few, I would say very few people are able to really embrace that all of the time. And especially when you're really passionate about something
Mhm.
and someone feels completely different. It's not always easy, but let's try it moment by moment and see the progress that we can make.
I totally am with you on that, Jenny. And if I can just take you to another perspective. Now, certain things, Jenny, that we do in life, we know, we are very aware beings, if that is, if you're an aware being. Certain things drains your energies, right? It lowers our vibrations. It makes us feel so hopeless. Now, whether it's toxicity or it's toxic thought patterns or it's people who are called vampires, they suck your energy out. And kindness is the most uplifting, I would say, attitude you can adopt for well-being. So let's share, I would say, let's pave the way today, Jenny. Now, you're the founder of Kindness from the Heart, right? That's what it has to richness. Can you share some very small steps how can we make kindness a common agenda? How do we use kindness to improve humanity's outlook? What would you suggest? Where does someone start with this awareness?
Well, I think that as you mentioned about how kindness really can lift us up.
Mhm.
So I want to mention just a couple of things that I really look at kindness as a superpower. And it's a superpower that anyone can embrace.
Mm.
It's a language that anyone can understand and speak. And it's we can all put on this cloak of this superpower cloak. And one of the things that makes it such a superpower is that it has so many health benefits, as you mentioned about lifting us up. So it stimulates the production of serotonin, and that's something that helps us to feel better.
Mm.
And it's remarkable that when somebody does an act of kindness, their serotonin is boosted. The person that is the recipient of that kindness,
Yeah.
they have the same experience. And even somebody who is not even a part of that, but witnesses or hears about it, lifts them up as well. So that's pretty remarkable. Another thing kindness does is it produces more oxytocin.
Mm.
And that helps to build trust in some other things and boost our immune system. So that's an amazing benefit. As we think that we're doing something kind for someone else and they're the beneficiaries, it's remarkable to see how much it, improves our own lives and our own selves.
Yeah.
One of them I really love too is I'm going to quote this so I get it right. People who are perpetually kind have 23% less of the stress hormone cortisol in their system. And that helps them to age more slowly.
Wow.
And I kind of joke, but I kind of really mean it too, is that is particularly important to me, thinking about how I just had a major milestone birthday this past year. So, yeah, that's a great way to kind of slow down the aging process a little bit.
That's amazing. And
Yeah,
happy birthday. And
thank
you
you.
with your beautiful aura. I mean, I can almost see an aura around you. And
It's a blonde. It's a blonde.
oh, well, you're just being humble. There's auras and there's auras. And obviously, Jenny, you're living it. You are breathing it. You are it, right? As an ambassador of kindness. And it's obviously going to inculcate and infuse like a perfume all around you, almost like a tree with branches. So how can maybe paving it forward? I know that word paving it forward and I'm a big believer of it. So would you give an example of how would you pave kindness, like
Yeah,
that effect?
absolutely. So so here's my thought around kindness. Just kind of, I'll put into one kind of Jenny Haase thing. Even a seemingly small act of kindness
Mhm.
can unleash an energy that ripples in ways unimagined and touching countless lives and even transcending generations. So that's, the ripple effect of paying it forward. And I think that we've all had lots of examples, I hope, in our lives where we've seen that energy. It might be someone that, you smile at someone who's having a difficult day and it really turns their day around. It makes them feel valued and cared about and seen. And then they go about changing the way that they behave, with others that come into their day. And, or you think about a teacher who has, shares with a student, their belief in that child and the confidence in that child. And it changes the way that child begins to see themselves And maybe that child grows up to go on to college, be the first person in their family to go on and get a higher education degree, and really change their lives, and the kind of the pattern of that family moving forward in generations. So there's all kinds of things that we can do to see that ripple effect. And whether it's just a random act where you mentioned about paying it forward. I don't know if you've heard this, in I'm sure this has happened in your area in India as well. But somebody doing something kind for someone, like they're in a drive-through at a fast food restaurant, and they pay for their own food and they pay for the food for the car behind them. And then, there's so many instances where the person behind them then goes ahead and does the same thing when they find out. And there's such a beauty and kindness. One of the values that it's so closely related to is gratitude.
Yes.
And it's just circular. And so you think about, well, somebody does a kind act for me. Well, I'm grateful and I want to do a kind act in return for them. And maybe I want to do a kind act to then pay it forward to others as well, and share that kindness and that uplift this simple act has done for me. So whether it's a random act of kindness or something where you're really planning intentionally a kindness initiative to maybe ripple out on even a larger scale, it all makes a difference. It all helps helps us make a world that we want to be in.
That's beautiful and so simple. You remind me of this incident, Jenny, when I was standing to pay for a meal back in Malaysia in my days when I lived there. And this very well-dressed man, he just was fumbling for his wallet and he didn't have the money. And I just very quickly, I was behind him and I stepped forward and I offered to pay for him. So I also feel, and he was very awkward. He was embarrassed. So I think there's also something that just comes to my mind. There's also needs to be grace in accepting kindness, because a lot of times, Jenny, there's an ego in receiving. So I think kindness has to be given, and it also has to have a mindset and gratitude and, like what you said, and humility to receive, don't you think?
Right. I do. And there's so many people, wonderful, warm-hearted, good people, that find it so much easier to do a kindness service or an act of service for someone else than it is to be able to receive it. And so I think about how, personally, I think we're here to help each other. I think that's a big part of the reason we're on this earth. We're all here helping each other home, right? And one of those ways for us to learn and grow and develop is to be able to be of service. And if we're so taken with, well, I can do it on my own, I don't need help, I'm a giver, I'm not a receiver, then we're actually denying somebody an opportunity to be of service, to have those blessings in their own life from being of service. And so, while we don't want to just take and take, but let's be graceful about when a kindness is offered, generally smile back and thank them for it, even if you don't think you need it, even if, for whatever, just be gracious, be grateful, and let's all, have an opportunity to serve and learn and grow together. It shouldn't just be, me just doing whatever I think is going to make me feel better and help others around the world.
Yes, Jenny, absolutely. Gosh, we've got to make this our mantra. There's this absolutely funny comedian in India. As he was speaking, he actually said, "Oh, I helped someone cross the road and he hit me, and look at my bruise." And someone said, "Why would someone hit you?" "Because you helped them cross the street." And he goes like he didn't want to. He did
that is another important,
That's another level of being kind, because you want to earn brownie points for being kind. So I thought that was so funny and appropriate to bring out here. Now, Jenny, also tell us about your wonderful legacy that I was talking about. You have a legacy of kindness. You share with the audience those beautiful 91 acts of kindness. What was all that about?
Well, and actually 91 plus, I'll tell you why. So a couple of years ago, this is right at this is in, oh gosh, it was right before COVID hit in December, Christmas morning, I was trying to think about what to do for my mom's upcoming birthday. She was
90th?
turning 91.
Okay.
So she was turning 91 that February.
Mhm.
And for her 90th birthday, we'd had a big family and community celebration, which is really lovely. And so I'm thinking, okay, what do we do for 91? And it was actually on Christmas morning that the idea hit me. And every once in a while, do you have an idea that just feels really inspired? And it's like, I don't know where that came from, but this is it. This is what I need to do. Yeah. And I thought, okay, I'm going to invite people to do an act of kindness in honor of my mom.
Wow.
And then I'll put it together in a book and present it to her for her birthday.
Wow.
And I shared with them a little bit about my mom for those who anyone was welcome to participate, whether they knew her or not. But she is she's tiny, but she is a powerhouse of love and goodness and kindness. She is a twin. Her twin is in Japan, and they are both just these amazing, amazing women who have created legacies of kindness. And she taught school for many, many years and was a wonderful influence on her students. She started an art foundation once she had retired in her 60s.
Amazing.
And so I put out the invitation, and I had so many wonderful things come back. And people would share about their thoughts about my mom and maybe sharing instances of kindnesses that she had shown them. They would share about what they were inspired to do as an act of kindness or, multiple acts of kindness in her honor. They might share a picture. So I put it together in this book. So it turned out to be, I called it 91 Acts of Kindness. So you can see that.
Yes, yes. Oh gosh.
So,
If I could have a picture of you holding it, I would love to have that as the poster for when.
oh, absolutely.
I know you
So
shared it too. That's beautiful.
yeah. So in the book, I wrote a note to my mom and said, "Dear Mom, on Christmas morning, I felt inspired to celebrate your upcoming 91st birthday by issuing an invitation for others to honor you through acts of kindness. My goal was 91 acts of kindness, but as you will see, there were many more.
Oh,
May you feel the love that fills the following pages. I hope you understand the good that you inspire by who you are and how you live your beautiful life." And so, can I share a few of those, a few of the many
yes,
kindnesses?
yes, Jenny,
It is,
absolutely. This is the most inspiring thing, I think, legacy we're going to leave through this episode for a lot of people to be inspired at different ages for their family members. That's beautiful. Please, please read
so
some.
I had, as I mentioned, there were 133 acts plus because I couldn't quantify all of them, and you'll hear why for some. There was Valerie, who is my dearest friend from childhood, who's a school teacher, and she became a school teacher inspired by my mom when we were kids. And she gave a book to 10 special students of hers who had been struggling with their reading, had been working hard to meet their reading goals. And in those books, she inscribed a note to them, letting them know about my mom and also about how she wanted literacy to be important to them because it would mean so much to them in their lives. A family friend named Jan who used my mom's bread making recipe. My mom makes the best homemade bread. And she gave a love to a widow, to a widower, to an artist, to a neighbor that was healing from surgery, to 3 super busy families, and to someone who does a lot of good and kind acts on a regular basis for others. There was Carolyn, who is a friend who has never even met my mom. And she was, she bought a cup of hot cocoa and a bagel, toasted bagel for a homeless man who was outside of the Starbucks she was going into, and used that time to really connect with him and, share a little bit about each other. And she said, by pausing and saying yes, I connected gently, human being to human being, heart to heart with a stranger. So that warmed both of them. There's Carrie who decided that when she was making dinner for her family, she would make extra and then take a plate over to some older single people in her neighborhood that had a hard time, living alone, had a hard time, fixing, meals for just one all the time. And it just really meant a lot to both of them. I have a friend from high school who has never met my mom. He saw the post on Facebook and he slipped $100 bill into the backpack of a homeless man when he wasn't looking.
Uh,
And and the friend just had such a warm feeling thinking about, hoping that a smile, that brought a smile to this gentleman's face when he found it. Um, there's Linda who left gift cards and a thank you note for the
amazing.
6 individuals that come and pick up their garbage and the recycling on
Which we
a
take for
weekly basis.
granted. We take for
Exactly.
granted. You know what's
Yep.
coming through to me, Jenny, in this beautiful, beautiful, endorsement of the life that your mother lived.
Mhm.
What's coming through for me is how much we take for granted. And it's a possibility that we do these small acts, but we're not aware. But the
Right.
minute we are cognizant and say and acknowledge that we did it, like you said, your endorphins, your every possible hormones going to zoom up your joy coefficient and your gratification. I think that's really what's coming through to me, is how do we in awareness do these acts and acknowledge them to ourselves. And I think that's what through your mom, this is what's happening, and it's going to become a norm. So Jenny, thank you so much for sharing those beautiful. And is your mom still with us?
She is.
Okay.
Let me show you share one more thing with you with about those acts. And when I said it's very hard to quantify, the 133 acts and what happened there. One person has a blog post and he shared on my mom's birthday, he wrote about creating a legacy. He called it a legacy of God kindness. And he told about my mom who was turning 91 that day and encouraging people to think about the kind of, are you creating a legacy of kindness? At the time, Mark had over 500,000 subscribers in 63 countries. So
Oh,
thinking about kindness on her birthday. When my mom got the book, she was so touched by the acts of kindness that people had done, and she felt unworthy of it. She decided that she would do an act of kindness for each of those 133
oh
acts.
my
So as
goodness.
COVID was breaking out and she was home, we stopped counting at how many loaves of bread that she had made and sent to people.
Incredible.
She made 100 homemade masks when PPE, the masks were hard to come by
Yeah,
in early COVID times
yeah.
for healthcare workers.
Mm,
So she is now, she'll be turning 94
bless
on
her.
February 10th and still making her bread, still doing kind acts, still inspiring. And I am so deeply grateful for every moment. Yeah.
Yes, that is so beautiful, Jenny. And thank you so, so much for sharing that. And bless her. And maybe she, may she be as empowered as always. And what a legacy for you to step into those beautiful shoes and taking it forward. You're very, very blessed. And, kindness is lifting people's spirit is like an exercise, right? You lose nothing. You lose
Right.
nothing. It's one of those exercises, you lose nothing.
And you gain so much.
You gain joy, you gain trust, love, friendships, gratitude. So thank you so, so much, Jenny, for sharing your mom and her values and her absolute, the way she is spreading. It's like a fragrance almost of a flower. And thank you for being the ambassador of sharing her values. Thank you so much, Jenny. On that note, I know we're in a very fuzzy, loving space, and I know that we've inspired everyone who's going to listen to us. But should we, with your permission, go into the rapid fire round that I do at the end of most programs, because time has gone by so fast? Are
I
you?
will do my best. Yes. I wish I could phone a friend, but we'll see how it goes.
It's just anything and everything that comes from your heart, Jenny. And the idea is to just have fun on a light note. So let me start, Jenny, with your permission on the first one. Which is the one thing that never fails to bring a smile on your lips?
Right now, it's singing music from a wonderful movie that just came out called Spirited that just makes me happy and dance, and it's all about being kind.
Oh, that's beautiful. I haven't seen that yet.
Please do.
Yeah,
Great.
it's out already, isn't it, out there in the
It came
US?
out over the holidays called Spirited. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. I like the sound of that already. A strange animal you might have seen on those beautiful walk in the Rockies, and I am getting there to you one of these holidays. A strange
Wonderful. Well, not so much strange, but an animal I look forward to seeing if I'm hiking. I loved when I have a chance encounter with the moose.
a
And one
moose.
time, the moose, and one time was blessed to see 5
Oh,
moose
a whole
in a
family of
feeding
them.
meadow. Oh, it was amazing. Yeah.
Quite magnificent with the antlers, are they? I mean, really. They do have antlers, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. One random act of kindness each one of us can do every day. That's easy.
Smile at
Oh,
someone, look at someone, use their name, let them be seen. Yeah. Make a connection.
absolutely. Wonderful. So easy. So easy. The smile on the lips becomes a twinkle in the eyes, and
Right.
that's way
Absolutely.
you know that it's generated from the heart. How do you show kindness to yourself? Sure. What do you do?
Taking a walk, getting
Yeah.
out on the trail, or getting in nature is my absolute favorite way. My soul needs that nourishment.
Again, envying you right there. Um, Tell us something no one in our audience knows about you, Jenny.
Gosh.
Spill the skeletons, so to speak.
Um, well, people that know me now are surprised to learn that I was inherently very shy and had a very hard time speaking in groups or in public. My children don't quite buy that, but it is very true.
That's because your passion's driving you
Yes,
right now. You found
it
your
is, and I want to love more than I fear.
Oh, I love that, and we sense it. And thank you for being you. Thank you, Jenny. That was it. It's a wrap. How does it feel to be here?
It feels absolutely wonderful, and one day I would like to be there. I would love to travel in India. I hear so many beautiful things about that country and have friends, including you, there now. And I
Absolutely.
would love to welcome you here.
Thank you, Jenny. That is the spirit of sisterhood that I find talking to my guests. Each one of you is a very, very special guest. So on that note, I just wanted to let you know that there will be a retreat in India in probably November or December of 2023 this year in the city of Varanasi, which is the oldest living city in the world. So I welcome you, and I'm happy to share the details with you and our guests.
I'd love
Now,
to hear more.
yes, Jenny, very welcome. I am very happy to host you here. Where can people find you to connect with you?
They can find me on LinkedIn. That is a wonderful connector there. So Jen Cass on LinkedIn, and I am in Utah in the U.S. And also, you can go to my website, which is Kindness from the Heart.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you once again for throwing, this fragrance of kindness, for planting these seeds of kindness. And I'm sure anyone who follows these small, simple things, they will sprout into trees of love, of joy and light. So join me in saying bye to all our listeners from all over the world, and all of you. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please like, subscribe, and press the bell icon. Jenny, once again, join me in saying bye to everyone. And thank you and namaste from India to everyone. And to you, Jenny, from my heart to yours. Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you so much.